All right, so before we get into this video, I just want to say today is Friday, April 5th. And if you guys live anywhere between Vermont and Virginia, I'm from Jersey. We just had a freaking earthquake. I was literally getting ready to record this video and I was in the bathroom getting ready and getting prepared, you know, fixing up myself and making sure I look decent on camera. And then the whole bathroom starts shaking and I'm like, what the fuck, bro? And then the whole house starts shaking and turns out we had a freaking earthquake that started, at least for us, in central Jersey. Some people are also reporting that it started in New York too. I don't know what's going on. We're getting more news about it as the day goes on. So just wanted to let y'all know I just had a freaking earthquake like probably a good half an hour before I record this. Anyway, let's get on with the video. Godzilla and King Kong, two of some of my favorite properties of all time. I grew up loving both of these kaijus. My first experience with Godzilla is with the Toho Godzilla, and in particular the Heisei era, watching Godzilla vs. Biollante, Godzilla vs. Space Godzilla, Destroyer, King Ghidorah, Mothra, Battle for Earth, you know, all those great films. And then with King Kong, my main experience with King Kong pre-Monsterverse is of course Peter Jackson's King Kong from 2005. Loved that movie growing up. Even played the shitty DS port on my Nintendo DSi XL back in the day. In today's video, we are going to be introducing the Monsterverse incarnation of these characters to the channel. This is something I've been looking forward to doing for years now. I have dreamt of the day where I could finally be in a position on this channel to bring Godzilla and Kong content to the channel. And since I'm no longer exclusively a Teen Wolf channel, we're bringing in the Monsterverse finally. So yeah, today we're going to be seeing Godzilla and King Kong from the Monsterverse, and we're going to be doing other versions of the characters down the road, but I want to start off with the Monsterverse incarnations of the characters because, you know, they're the most popular characters, or they're the most popular versions of the characters in media right now, so why not take advantage of that? So we're going to be talking about the Monsterverse versions of these characters today specifically. And yeah, I just want to go over like some of my greatest memories with Godzilla before I even get into this video, because I'm really hyped to be talking about these two. Like, some of my greatest moments with Godzilla isn't even from the Heisei Millennium or even the Reiwa eras, as the modern current era of Japanese Godzilla stuff is currently going on right now. It's from the freaking Showa era, where Godzilla does goofy ass hilarious shit like this, bro.
Something funny going on. You better check. Oh, yeah. What the fuck?
Yeah, this dude be doing drop kicks, be flying. This dude was talking at one point. Yeah, Toho was having Godzilla do all types of crazy stuff. But before we get into this video, I just wanted to go over some of my experiences with these kaiju before we get in, because this is a video that has been years in the making. This is probably going to be one of the craziest videos I've done on the channel, period. So I hope you guys sit back, relax, grab a snack. It's not going to be too long, hopefully. And yeah, enjoy. See you guys in the main portion of the video. Godzilla and King Kong, two of the most famous monsters the world has ever seen. The Monsterverse started 10 freaking years ago, man, in May 2014 with Godzilla, one of my favorite kaiju films and just Godzilla movies of all time. I've been a massive fan of these two, as mentioned in the opening portions of this video where you saw me on screen, all my life. And to have expanded the channel to the point where I finally get to make content on these two excites me on a level no other franchise I've covered has been able to bring out of me. On this newest edition of the Fantasy Fights series, we'll settle the score on who would really win in a fight to the death between the Monsterverse incarnations of Godzilla and King Kong. Now, before you start typing in the comments, Jade, we've seen them fight on screen in 2021 and 1962 with the Showa era's King Kong versus Godzilla and the Monsterverse's Godzilla versus Kong. Yes, I'm well aware of this, but you guys, well, at least some of y'all, have no idea how salty Kong fans were when he lost to Godzilla in GVK. to the point where I've heard some of the most ludicrous, delusional takes of all time. So for the sake of making the definitive video using all Monsterverse media, minus Godzilla Awakening's modern day stuff because it got retconned by Monarch Legacy of Monsters, because the GVK novelization expands on the movie, telling us and confirming that both Godzilla and Kong were nerfed throughout a majority of the film, we're going to settle the score here, no holding back, base forms of these monsters at their peaks, pick a definitive winner with additional scaling and proof along with additional contextual statements from the wider universe related media. These two near unstoppable kaiju from the Monsterverse possess unfathomable powers and abilities that would make a legit fair fight between them one of the greatest fights of all time. These two will fight at their absolute peaks as mentioned before, which means they'll fight in their most powerful states in their base form. So for this video, no burning Godzilla, no evolved Godzilla, or Kong with the beast glove. Kong will have his axe though, since he'd pretty much get clapped easily without it, and I want to make it as fair of a fight as possible. Also, speaking of no evolved Godzilla or beast glove Kong, I will not include anything from GXK The New Empire until the film's home release. I'll make a follow-up video to this one when that time comes, and we'll do a battle between those versions of the characters then. So join me as we break down the battle between these two characters regarding strength and skill, speed, agility, durability, endurance/stamina, combat experience, and hacks. But before we begin this fight to the death, if you're new here, subscribe, hit that like button, and ring the notification bell to stay up to date on all things fantasy, creature, supernatural, or monsters, including these thrilling battles. Let's see who wins this battle between the King of the Monsters and the God of Skull Island.
And adoration that comes with being declared the world's greatest fighter! This is the one we've been waiting for. It's the battle of the century. The ultimate battle for supremacy has begun. Are you ready? Who will emerge a champion? Let's get started!
Godzilla takes the strength category without any real arguments to say otherwise. He can cause tsunamis just by arriving on shores, casually destroy buildings just by walking, shake entire airports with his footsteps, walk through structures like the Golden Gate Bridge, and deal with the male and female Mutos even in one of his weakest states as he appeared in the 2014 film. He even defeated Muto Prime, the most powerful of the Mutos, and a creature stated to casually be able to kill members of the Titanus Gojira species such as Dagon, and was stated to be strong enough to hold its own against King Ghidorah. He was also able to fight in his base form and was equal to, in power, to a normal King Ghidorah, arguably the most powerful creature without amps in the Monsterverse aside from Godzilla and Shimo, being able to tear off the space dragon's heads with ease using his teeth, creating shockwaves just by clashing with Ghidorah, along with throwing and tackling Ghidorah as well. Both King Ghidorah and Muto Prime weigh 3 times or more than Godzilla, and he has shown no issues with lifting and dealing with creatures heavier than him, and he can easily deal with flying creatures such as the Ion Dragon, where it took him little to no time to kill it at the end of Monarch Legacy of Monsters. Even in states where he's heavily weakened and vulnerable, such as in Godzilla Dominion, where Godzilla is at one of his lowest points, still exhausted from his battle with King Ghidorah, he's able to throw titans like Scylla across the ocean with such force that she skips like a rock, which is just crazy, smack Amhuluk a good distance and tear out Murderfish's spine with ease, as well as fend off and battle Tiamat, one of the strongest titans in the verse. And in Godzilla Godzilla vs. Kong, he was able to tear entire battleships in half with his spine just by swimming, flip boats that are weighed down by kaiju being on top of them such as Kong, standing up and breaking through bridges, and flinging Kong's axe hard enough to embed it in a building. He's also able to throw Kong several blocks away with his teeth, dislocating his shoulder, and mind you, this is while Godzilla is heavily nerfed after expending so much energy throughout the film. Godzilla, as stated in the Godzilla vs. Kong novel, is said to be around 45% power when fighting Mechagodzilla, and even at this 45% power, he was able to restrain Mecha G along with Kong's help and is strong enough to have a Dragon Ball Z like beam clash with the Mechanical Titan. As for Kong, he's no slouch either, and he should 100% be commended for giving Godzilla arguably one of his most challenging and difficult battles in the Monsterverse, even while in a weakened state, with him still recovering from his fight with Camazotz, being sedated, and being out of shape with him held in captivity in the Skull Island Dome facility for 3 years following his fight with the Bat Titan. Kong stated to be able to punch so hard he can cause 4.5 to 5.0 magnitude earthquakes, which is just wild, throw trees, smack and destroy helicopters, manhandle skull crawlers, and he even defeated the Skull Devil, the most powerful of the skull crawlers, as a teenager slash juvenile. He was able to grab Camazotz, a fellow Alpha Titan, although a low level tier Alpha, by the head and throw him while at the peak of his strength, beat the absolute dog shit out of Camazotz, as well as holding off Godzilla underwater in his own turf. He was also able to stun Godzilla with a headbutt, drop kick Godzilla, which was fucking awesome by the way, shoulder check him, and even stagger Godzilla with his axe while it's charged up with atomic energy. He even casually uses lesser monsters such as war bats as weapons in combat, and is able to hold back Mechagodzilla after being revived from the dead, and even defeat Mechagodzilla with Godzilla's help in a severely weakened state as mentioned before. But even with his axe, Kong is no match for an all-out serious Godzilla, as Godzilla was stated by director Adam Wingard to be toying with Kong up until the moment he got hit at the source of the atomic breath with his axe. And after that, Godzilla started taking the fight more seriously, and we saw what happened in GVK after that. Godzilla went full primal mode and absolutely destroyed Kong, dislocating his shoulder and pretty much killing him temporarily. So strength goes to the king of the monsters.
Will the tide of battle turn?
This one obviously goes to Kong, and there's no argument to be made to suggest otherwise. Kong is able to efficiently use his intelligence, being the smartest of all the Titans in the Monsterverse, arguably aside from maybe Scar King, to use anything in his surroundings as a weapon, giving him a significant advantage over a lot of his opponents, including Godzilla. He's able to use trees, ship anchors, construction cranes, and any environmental objects he deems fit to deal enough damage in battle, which not only makes Kong one of the most unpredictable kaiju, but one of the most dangerous due to his sheer versatility on which he can use to attack his opponents. We see this predominantly in his battle with the Skull Devil and Godzilla. The only thing you can say Godzilla is somewhat skilled at is his hand-to-hand combat, as he can beat almost any other Titan on his own with his bare hands, and his absurdly insane accuracy with his ranged atomic breath. Skill goes to the god of Skull Island.
What will happen now?
This goes to Godzilla, and I would like to say Kong is close, but he's just not. Godzilla's only confirmed factual speed feat with statements behind it that I know is confirmed for sure is the fact that he ran at 300 miles an hour when running towards King Ghidorah to begin their final clash in Boston, Massachusetts in King of the Monsters. There is no confirmed speed feats as far as I know for Kong that have been confirmed via statements, but Kong can move pretty fast all things considered, since he, along with Ghidorah and Scar King, are the only monsters confirmed to be seen on screen fast enough to avoid his atomic breath. Speed goes to the G-Man.
And the battle continues.
This one's gonna be another short category like speed, as agility easily goes to Kong. Whoever in the comments says agility goes to Godzilla is just straight up biased as hell. Kong is not only shorter than Godzilla by around 56 feet, as Godzilla is 393 feet tall and Kong is 337 feet tall, but his body is also way lighter than Godzilla's, allowing him to move more freely and be more mobile at all times during any fight. Kong can jump over helicopters, climb up skyscrapers, leap from boats to boat, and his reaction time is fast enough to constantly dodge and block Godzilla's atomic breath during their fight in Hong Kong. Godzilla's body is extremely heavy and way bulkier than Kong's, with him moving like a tank most of the time unless he's extremely pissed. He's agile when he wants to be, but his agility is nowhere near Kong's level of agility. So agility goes to the world's 8th wonder.
Let's keep it up!
Yeah, here's where the battle completely transitions to Godzilla completely dominating Kong for the rest of these categories, because durability easily goes to Gojira. Godzilla is immune to all modern weaponry unless he's hit in his gills, such as in Godzilla 2014 during the Golden Gate Bridge scene. He shrugs off buildings collapsing on him, can survive nukes being blown up at point blank range as seen in Monarch Legacy of Monsters and King of the Monsters, and this is the worst thing you can do because nukes only make Monsterverse Godzilla stronger and buff his base form even further as seen in King of the Monsters. He can tank hits from Ghidorah's gravity beams, which are strong enough to completely disintegrate humans on impact, gets punched by Muto Prime so hard he's literally sent flying away a good distance and instantly recovers. He tanks King Ghidorah chokeslamming him and dropping him from the clouds damn near at the edge of the Earth's atmosphere. He also easily shrugs punches to the face from the likes of Kong and powers through an onslaught of missiles fired by Mecha G, and his greatest durability feat is surviving the Permian impact, a huge asteroid at damn near point blank range as seen in this panel here, a feat that as far as I know that is still canon at this moment, at least, that wasn't retconned by Monarch. Only the 1954 stuff with Godzilla fighting the Shinomura in modern times was retconned. This event diminished the atmospheric radiation and eradicated most life on Earth at the time, and the surface had no longer been a suitable place to live for Titans, so Godzilla traveled underwater near thermal vents where he fed on radiation for millions of years until his resurgence in the 1900s, but he does have limitations and isn't invincible. Godzilla almost died when he was hit by the oxygen destroyer in King of the Monsters and barely survived it, having enough energy to return to his hollow earth home. He also got his original set of dorsal plates from the 2014 film completely shattered and destroyed by Muto Prime's sonic attack in late 2014, though by the time King of the Monsters takes place in 2019 and even at the end of Monarch in 2017, they're pretty much fully regenerating, sporting the design we're all familiar with now. As for Kong, he has some pretty crazy durability feats as well, but nowhere near Godzilla's. He can't be injured by normal gunfire, but it does sting him. A spirit tiger's bite can't penetrate his skin. He gets dropped by a great height by Kamazotz in Kingdom Kong, creating a huge crater, and he instantly recovers. He continues to fight the Bat Titan after its sonic attack causes both of his ears to bleed, and is fine after being near depth charges that stun Godzilla after he nearly drowned him. He is also able to survive being hit by Godzilla's atomic breath, although he barely got dipped by it on his back, as a full blast would have done significantly more damage to him. His greatest feat, however, is being able to survive a vortex separating the hollow earth from the surface world multiple times, as it's stated to be a gravitational inversion, which is described as a whole planet's worth of gravity reversed in a split second. Mind you, most other Titans can do this as well, such as Godzilla, so I don't know if it's really a super great feat for him, but we'll add it in there. Kong's biggest limitation though, as seen in Kong Skull Island and GVK, is taking too much severe physical damage, as during his fight with Godzilla, the beating he takes from him in Hong Kong is enough to pretty much kill him until his heart was restarted by enough electricity to light up Vegas for a week. Durability easily goes to Godzilla.
Pick up the pace!
Endurance easily goes to Godzilla, and this won't be too long either. We saw Godzilla's endurance compared to Kong's on full display in GVK. Godzilla was continuously expending energy throughout the entirety of GVK, and by the end of the film, he still had more than enough energy, even at 45% power, to still fight Mechagodzilla and Kong back to back. Kong, after Godzilla started getting pissed and going all out, was down for the count after Godzilla absolutely bodied him at the end of their fight in Hong Kong. Although, to be fair to Kong, he was severely nerfed after being sedated and out of shape, but even if he was at full strength, I don't think it'd be too much of a difference, with the only real difference being that Kong would give Godzilla a much tougher fight than what was seen in the film. Endurance goes to Godzilla.
Which of these two challengers will walk away a champion?
Again, another quick category to get through. Godzilla is millions of years old, with him fighting legions of Titans in that era and in modern day, including King Ghidorah in both of those time periods, the Mutos, Tiamat, Muto Prime, the list goes on. Kong has only been alive for a few thousand years and only has experience dealing with the creatures exclusive to Skull Island, with the biggest threat being the Skull Crawlers until 2021 when Kamazotz arrived, and then 2024 when he was relocated off of Skull Island to Hollow Earth and encountered Godzilla and Mechagodzilla. Combat experience easily goes to the Big G.
Pull out all the stops! Who will emerge victorious?
Again, more of the same as the last category. I don't need to repeat myself. Experience goes to Godzilla as well.
It all comes down to this. This match decides the winner. This is the last round.
And what I like to call the overkill category, hacks easily goes to Godzilla, but Kong has a good argument for him leveling out the playing field for this category as well. As mentioned at the start, Kong has his axe in this fight to even things out, so we'll start off with him first. Kong's greatest hacks are his intelligence and skilled use of any weaponry. Kong's greatest hacks are his intelligence and skilled use of any weapon he can find to use to his advantage. As for his intelligence, Kong is so smart that he's able to remember things that happened moments after his birth, which is just insane. He used a Psycho Vulture's electric attack to ignite a tree, giving himself an even greater weapon to work with in his fight against Kamazats. He knows rudimentary sign language, which is just wild, uses roofs as improvised shields as seen in GVK, and even relocated his dislocated shoulder, which was just badass by the way. As for his axe, he found it while exploring his ancestors' home in the Hollow Earth. It's made from the dorsal spine of a member of Godzilla's species. It's a powerful melee weapon and it can draw power from the Hollow Earth, can absorb Godzilla's atomic breath, which is its greatest strength and most important for this battle in particular, can create large bursts of atomic energy when colliding with Godzilla's atomic breath at its source, and when energized can slice clean through Mecha Godzilla's limbs. As for Godzilla, his hacks are just wild as he has senses that go beyond the normal 5, basically a sixth sense, giving him greater range of perception. And since this is in the GXK trailer, I'm gonna add this in because we see him do it in his base form, which is exactly the same as GVK's base. He has his nuclear pulse now, which he can just use regularly, which he was able to use before when his dorsal spines got shattered by Muto Prime, generating it from his back, but now he can emit a weaker form of it than his thermonuclear form in his base. And mind you, at its strongest in that form, 2 blasts from it were able to completely annihilate most of King Ghidorah's body. And last but not least, his most iconic hacks, his atomic breath, a power we've seen throughout all incarnations of the character except for the TriStar-verse Goji. We don't talk about him though, even though I mess with that movie a lot. At its weakest in the 2014 movie, it's able to down the female Muto with a few short bursts and is able to decapitate the femme Muto through the Kiss of Death attack, which is just iconic at this point. And at its strongest, it was able to blast parts of the clouds, blast King Ghidorah off of him and blast him off his feet from a sizable distance, slice clean through buildings, force Kong back even while his axe was absorbing the atomic breath. And by far the most well-known and impressive feat for this incarnation of Godzilla's atomic breath, tunneling from Hong Kong through the Hollow Earth in 3 minutes, which is just absolutely nuts. While Kong's intelligence and use of his ancestral axe is very impressive, making this Kong arguably the smartest Kong alongside Peter Jackson's, if not outright the smartest incarnation of the 8th Wonder, we saw on screen that both of these are simply not enough to defeat Godzilla head on, as Godzilla is smart as well, though not as smart as Kong, but he's one of the smartest monsters in that verse. Godzilla, when he begins to take things seriously, is one of, if not the most dangerous kaiju in the entire Monsterverse. He wasn't even taking Kong seriously at the start of their fight in Hong Kong, even laughing at him in one of the funniest scenes I've seen in a movie period. While Kong's hacks are very impressive, Godzilla reigns supreme overall for a reason. Hacks goes to the king of the monsters, and well, the current king of cinema, 70 years and counting. And now down to the last section, who wins this fight? And the winner is Godzilla, the king of the monsters. Who wins this fight with middling difficulty, as Kong's gonna give him a bit of a challenge, similar to how he did in the film. The loser, unfortunately, is King Kong. I'm sorry to disappoint Kong fans everywhere. It's just the sad truth. I love Kong, I love all the versions of Kong, but he's not stacking up against Godzilla. And mind you, Monsterverse Godzilla isn't even the most powerful. He's one of the most powerful Godzillas, but there's a Godzilla we're gonna introduce to the channel next month that's even more powerful than Monsterverse Godzilla, and I think y'all know which Godzilla I'm referring to. leave a comment down below if you know which one I'm talking about. But yeah, Kong loses this battle. So yeah, sorry Kong, but
Game over. You lose.
Finish him.
Your soul is mine.
Fatality.
if you enjoyed this video though, don't forget to leave a like as it helps this video perform better in the algorithm and reach more people. Comment your thoughts below on this video. I go through all the comments, so any feedback is appreciated. If you haven't subscribed to the channel, consider making today that day. When you subscribe, don't forget to hit that bell icon and set those notifications to all so that you never miss a future video. Also, don't forget to join my Discord server linked below. All my socials and other versus battle channels are also linked in the description and pinned comment as well. And until next time, this is Jades Corner signing off. Peace. And now a sneak peek and tease for the next Fantasy Fights video. See you all next time. Thanks for watching.
Well, I was thinking, how many of you do I have to kill to save your lives?
You just come after her.